Hello, guys. And hello, rest of the league. You're probably wondering why I'm swearing this. It's mostly because I'm sick still. I'm trying not to contaminate the air with my germs. But mostly I've been wearing it after the fallout of Bjorn's implosion last week, being projected 152 and putting up the worst points in the league. However, with the game starting tonight for week 2, it's probably safe
to take it off, and the air is good and clean to breathe. Except for him. He's dead. Now, obviously I'm still doing another video from my room, which means I'm still feeling under the weather and not the best. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do my best this week. As long with some of the other of you in the league, I know you'll be also giving it 120%, even though you're not around me feeling sick. Hope you're feeling best in spirits. So let's go over this week 2 in predictions. So first off, we're going to start with my matchup of the week. And mostly because it's my team to watch for the week. And that's going to be the Jellies versus Team Kobe. Now the Jellies, in my opinion, are the hottest team in the league right now. They're so good. And mostly that's because Calvin Johnson. Now right now, the Jellies are poised to go 1-2 against the Plies, putting out Sam and then Josh. Last week, Calvin Johnson put up an astounding amount of points, where it essentially just caught Sam, crumpled him into a ball, and threw him outside of Detroit into a pitied mess of loss. Now, could the Jellies do it again? I don't know. Their run game is still yet to be proven, with Maurice Jones-Drew and Trent Richardson, both very risky kind of running backs. You never know if they can put in a big number or not. But granted, look at Josh Plies and his running back from last week. Absolutely worthless. Even Jamal Charles. Do I dare say Jamal Charles was worthless last week? I do dare say that, because he was, and they put up a total of 10 points between the both of them. Now, I think that Jamal Charles will not be trash this week. However, Ellington, yes, still going to be trash. And I still think the Jellies in that running game matchup will win. Now, the Jellies have pulled a pretty risky pick, in my opinion, and have 3 quarterbacks on their bench. Not only do they start Russell Wilson, but they have RG3, Tony Romo, and Ben Roethlisberger sitting on their bench. So maybe they're becoming a new hobbyist and collecting quarterbacks in their spare time. Who knows? Or maybe it's some sort of devious ploy to take all the quarterbacks in the league, and then when it comes time for us to have a bye week, we're forced to trade with them to get a quarterback, and maybe that's where they pick up their running backs. A legitimate strategy? I don't know. Moral ethics? I don't know. Or is it just pure luck strategy that they just happen to have 4 quarterbacks on their team? Now, in this week, I still think that Josh's team is over-projected probably by about 10 points overall. I'm taking the Jellies, going to spread the Plies like jelly across the field and go for the 1-2 punch, move to 2-0, and become this year's Cinderella team. I don't know. They're still looking for that glass slipper, and the clock hasn't struck midnight yet. So hopefully we can see, or at least hopefully I can see the Jellies win this, because my predictions being right makes me feel a lot better, and I don't feel very well right now. So that week, with that matchup, I'm taking the Jellies over the Plies. Or at least over, both Plies. Yeah, because they beat them last week. Next game, we're going into Wham Bam, Thank You Cam. Last week's MVP, Blaine Midthune, going against last year's champion, Anders Broman. This matchup's going to be pretty good. I think Cam Newton is underprojected. Coming off that injury, 13.2 points projected, I think he could put in at least 20 points this week in the air. Now, he is matched up against Peyton Manning, and I think that Julius Thomas is a little overprojected. Will he get a touchdown? Probably. Will he get 3? I hope so, because I have him in another league, but realistically, probably not. They are going up against Kansas City, who historically last year had a great defense, But this year, they kind of look very, and they have lost a few deep backs, so Peyton Manning could throw the deep ball again and just tear them apart early on. But then again, they are in Denver, I believe, again, so it's going to be a pretty good matchup. I think Eddie Lacy's not going to put up 14.8 points. They're going to take it pretty easy on him. Look for Starks to get some of the workload, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Kuhn stole a goal line touchdown again. For that, I'm still going to sit here, and I'm going to take Anders to win this matchup. He is projected to win. I think he's going to win. Anders is showing himself as a consistent, dominant force in this league. But this matchup will be very close, and I think that all these matchups this week are going to be very close. All the projections are roughly around 10 points away from each other from each matchup, so they could go either way. But right now, I still think that Anders is going to take the win in this week and put one of those people with their first loss. Next, we're going to go with Bjorn the Commish, or as I like to call him, the Imploder from last week, against Kevin the Newcomer. Now, Kevin last week put up an astounding amount of points, the second most the most in the league. Was it 136? Oh, unbelievable. It shocked me, folks. I had to eat my own words in my projection, and I live by that. I did miss the ball on that one pretty hard. However, he does have the Vikings D here only with 1 point. New England's really hungry for a win, and I think they're going to absolutely slaughter the Vikes, which is going to affect Cordarrelle's projections. I think that the big problem with Bjorn is Victor Cruz is still in his lineup. Now, granted, he's projected 19 points almost. I just don't think Victor's going to put up 19 points, especially Eli hasn't proven himself as a decent quarterback. Essentially, put Victor out into pasture, let him graze and roam and die quietly among the bench players. And I would say even putting in a Steve Smith. He's proven himself that he can catch balls now. He's in Baltimore. I think that him projected even 10 points less is not a big thing. Bjorn needs to learn to not live and die by the projections, but to look at just the facts that it is, and maybe that the over projections are there. So I think that if Bjorn makes that change, that one change alone, that he will win. So I'm going to take Bjorn this week over Kevin. Maybe Kevin, if I just keep picking the other guy and you just keep winning, I'll just keep doing that all year and you'll have a perfect season. Who knows? So next we'll move on to Team Plies, Sam Plies, that is, versus the name changer, Team #Julie. Very nice to see, even though your little tag on the bottom still says Kevin. Now, this is a pretty good matchup. Both of these guys had a pretty horrific loss last week, losing barely at the last minute because of one or two players. I honestly think that their benches are going to be the big determinant for both of these people. They have really solid players sitting on their bench. It's all a matter. I think Marshawn Lynch goes off, but I don't think Arian Foster goes off. I still think that Sam is going to take the win in this one, but if Sam does win, I bet you it's still within 10 points. It's going to be a close matchup. If Adam loses this next game, it's going to be just as close as his loss to mine. That being said, we'll go on to our final matchup against myself, against Mr. Broman. Now, as it stands right now, if you were to get on the line right now at 5:26 p.m. and look at our matchup, you would say, obviously, Trevor's going to win. And I would too, because Mr. Broman has one hand tied behind his back at this point. However, if he makes the obvious changes, it'll be a good game. And I think that this week, in the upset of the week, I'm going to take Mr. Broman if he makes those two changes. If for some reason he never gets online and makes those changes, then obviously I'm going to stick with myself. But if he makes the clear and obvious changes, I'm going to take Mr. Broman for the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to go ham sandwich. He is going to dominate the New York Jets. And I don't say that out of, yes, I'm a Packers fan. Yes, I love Aaron Rodgers. But he lost last week, and they want to put the ball in the air. Eddie Lacy's still kind of off that concussion. They're going to be switching up in the backfield. Expect him to look deep, trying to tear apart those Jets safeties and cornerbacks. If he throws all of his touchdowns to Cobb, then obviously it's going to work out for me because he gave him up to me, and that would have been more points for you, Mr. Broman. But unfortunately, I'm going to snag all those points for you if your quarterback continues to throw to your previous wide receiver, which is now sitting in my flex position because I'm flexing hard. So if that's the case, I'm still taking Mr. Broman as the upset unless he doesn't make any changes. Then I'm taking myself, obviously. So make sure you get all your lineups changed. The game starts tonight, CBS. If you want to come over here and watch the game with me, I'll just put my mask back on, and I won't breathe on you, and I'll survive a nuclear holocaust if something was to happen and a nuke would go off. I think I'd survive and be able to still watch the game. However, you could just go and buy a gas mask too and be cool like me. Yeah. So that's all my picks for this week. I still say the game to watch is the Jellies versus the Plies, against Josh Plies. I just think I don't know why, but I've just fallen in love with their team and their winning attitude and their just happy-go-lucky, naive spirit. So continue to pick up those quarterbacks, Jellies. I would give you one of mine, but I kind of need them both right now. So good luck, everybody, and fantasy on.